Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Beast. I'm YouTube famous now. Available in 2019, 2019, 2019. The album, Dad AF. Rock on, Goddess Woman. Okay, let's get in this video, shall we? I'm gonna throw the fan into the kitchen like the chapsticks because today is a little bit more of a serious video. I have received so many tweets, DMs, emails from people saying, would you please give your perspective on what is going on with the drama community and all this kind of stuff? So I've got some feelings about things, but I think that the best way for me to talk about it is from my perspective of what I have gone through in the last year, and maybe just give a little advice based on my life experience from what I've gone through, okay? And take it as it is. That's all I can say, right? It would be easy for me to get on video and to say, you know, it's really interesting to me that there are some of the same people that, you know, held me accountable and were very hard on me, okay, for some things that today are not holding people accountable and making excuses for them and excusing certain behaviors away. I don't feel that way, and I'll tell you why. I'm very thankful today for being held accountable at that time. And let me tell you why. Because, you know, I heard this quote years ago, and the quote is that when you are going through the biggest tragedy in your life, or when you're going through something really tough, look up and say thank you because you're about to learn the most valuable lesson in your life. And I really think that what is going on right now, when we want to make excuses for people, or we want to excuse away certain behavior and say, well, this is okay, or that's okay, or this is why, or this is in, and oh, it happened in 1990, or it happened in 2005, or it happened in, you know, whatever. The thing is this, is that when we do that, we are standing in the way of somebody else's growth. We are standing in the way of somebody else being, you know, successful in life as a human being, okay? Maybe not on YouTube, maybe not by views or subscriber counts, but at the end of the day, like when we take our last breath, what does that really matter? Like, I mean, in all honesty, what does it really matter? Or does our growth as a human being matter more? So when we aren't holding these people accountable, right, then, and that could be me as well, then we are standing in the way of somebody else's growth as a human being and not allowing them to grow. Because when we do that, what we're saying to them is, you don't need to change, you don't need to grow, you don't need to look at your behaviors and all of that kind of stuff. And I think the reality is changes are occurring. Changes are occurring in the drama community right now. A lot of people are coming out and they're having feelings about things and they're having emotions about things and they're saying things right now, right? A lot of stuff is going on right now. And I think, you know, one of the most valuable lessons, and I'm going to talk about Dustin Daly here in a couple minutes because that's a very serious part of this whole journey of mine in the last year. You know, I think that one of the most valuable lessons that I learned in the last year was that, and I want to say this first, you know, that one of the reasons why it's important for me to make this video, this was kind of a video that I wanted to make at the end of the year anyway, but now that all this is going on, I thought, well, this is kind of, you know, an apropos moment for me to talk about it, you know, in regards to what I have learned, okay? Because what I really see is this, is I see people continuing to repeat the same things over and over again and not learning, right? A lot of people, not just one, not just two, but a lot of people, right? And one of the most valuable things I learned in the last year is that when you hear people saying things to you over and over and over again, take a look at that and look, I mean, maybe there's some truth to that. Maybe there's some truth to when people are saying these things about you as a person that you need to take a look at and go, and I'm not talking about in front of a camera or whatever, I'm talking about in your most silent moment during the day, take a look at that and go, is there truth to this? Like, could this be who I was? Or could this be who I am as a person? You know, the other thing that I learned in the last year, and I learned this, I think, pretty quickly in the last year, was that the language that I use, the way that I speak to people, the words that I choose to use, have an impact on people positively or negatively, okay? Even just one person out there, you know, and once you've done the damage, you really can't take that back. It's like taking a nail and hammering it into a piece of wood and you've got the hole there. Now you can fill the hole up with sawdust or glue or whatever, but you're never gonna make that wood back to normal again, right? Like the damage has already been done. So when I speak to people, or speak out into the universe, I need to choose my words wisely. I need to really think about what I'm saying, how I'm saying it, what words I'm using, and it's important, right? Like, that is valid. You know, I used to cuss a lot in my videos. And I had thought a lot because, you know, like, YouTube doesn't like that and whatever. And I thought a lot about what my mom used to say to me. And she would say to me, Peter, when you cuss a lot, people stop hearing what you're saying and they hear how you're saying it. Well, that doesn't just go with cuss words. That goes with, like, the way that we speak to somebody, the tone that we're speaking to somebody, if it's aggressive or if it's nasty. And I have been somebody that has spoken aggressively in the past, and I am not proud of that. And that is one thing that I've really, really worked hard on in the last year. You know, the last year for me has been just one of profound change. And, you know, I didn't ever want to get in a video and just be like, well, it's a year later, I'm a changed person, blah, 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 whatever. So I really wanted to, you know, kind of get on here and explain, like, well, this is what's happened to me in the last year, you know, and why I think that this is a pivotal moment for certain people to either accept the lesson or be resistant to it, and it will continue to repeat itself. And that's what I really think will happen. I think these moments that are occurring for people right now, okay, whatever it is, they are either being presented a lesson, you know, that they are... Here's the lesson. Do you choose to take it now? Because if you don't, 5 days, 5 years from now, it's going to present itself again, right? And that's what I had to take a look at. Like, at what point am I really going to take a look at myself? Not just who I am today in 2019, but who I was in 2008, 1999, 1972, the year I was born, right? Like, who was I then? And why, when I did certain things, did I think that that was okay then? Right? And what has occurred between then and now to make me change as a person, better or for worse? But who was I then? I need to take a look at that. I need to inventory that behavior and take a look at it, you know? One of the reasons I'm not real keen on saying I'm sorry, and I will tell you, I have learned in the last year that some people need to hear I'm sorry. It just is the language that they speak, and they need to hear that, and they deserve to hear that, right? But one of the things that, the way that I was brought up was that, you know, so I'm a person in recovery. I've been sober for 24 years and 11 months. My sobriety date is December 17th of 1994. And if I make it to this December 17th, I will have been sober 25 years. So, you know, we do a lot of inventory and evaluation in sobriety. And we take a look at our behaviors, not just today, but of the past. And we try to take a look at patterns of who we were as a person. And then we go in and we try to correct those patterns and then not repeat them for the future. And that is what I have really attempted to do in the last year. I mean, in my sobriety, but really in the last year when it comes to how I've spoken to people, how I've treated friends, who I've been as a friend, and things like that. And, you know, I was raised by a father that was very accepting of the word I'm sorry. And I would do something and I would say I'm sorry. I would do something and I would say I'm sorry, you know? And I remember, like, in high school, he said to me, did something, and he goes, you know what? He goes, I'm so tired of hearing you say I'm sorry, because every time you say I'm sorry or every time you apologize, all you are saying to me is, forget what I just did. He goes, I don't want to hear you ever say, I'm sorry again. What I want to see is a change of behavior. I want to see you act a different way. I want to see you behave a different way, right? And so today, in my relationship with my father, that's something that I still do, right? Like, I show him who I am as a human being. I show him who I am as a person instead of just excusing it away, right? And I think that, like, that's one of the biggest issues for me with what I see going on right now, is that all of these people that are having opinions about what is going on and saying, well, it's okay or it's not okay, or this is right or this is wrong, or this is who I believe or this is who I don't believe, right? When we do all of that, what we're doing is we are standing in the way of somebody else's growth. You are standing in the way of somebody else growing as a human being. And I am thankful, as hard as it was for me a year and a half ago to a year ago, I am so thankful that nobody stood in the way of me learning the lessons that I have today. Because I've grown as a person. Whether you want to believe that or not, I really don't care. In my heart of hearts, when I wake up, I feel lighter, and I know that I have done the things that I needed to do for me and for other people to try to be a better person. Whether they believe that or not is okay, right? Like, I'm trying to show that in what I do. I'm going to talk about Dustin for a second here. I'll just kind of loop this in here. But, you know, there were several people specific to YouTube in the last year that I felt like I owed amends to. And Dustin was one of those people. And I said this in a video the other day that I had reached out to him on several occasions to make amends to him. And so, you know, and I had said when it's convenient. And so after I made my video, Dustin reached out to me, and he said, you know, like, I'm willing to talk to you and whatever. And he said in there, I just want to be honest, right? He said, you know, when you say it's convenient, there's no time limit on that, which is totally true. There was somebody else that I needed to make amends to, and it took months. So I totally understand that, right? But I will say this, that I called Dustin that night, and he allowed me to take total ownership over my part of the friendship and the things that had gone wrong in it. And it was just such a nice moment. Like, Dustin and I were able, you guys, this has been 15 months of us just acting like the other person was not even alive on the planet. And we were able to have a really nice adult conversation. And it really meant a lot to me. And he was literally the last person that I felt like I needed to go into 2020 to make amends to. And I'm so thankful that he allowed me to do that. And we just really had, I mean, we even laughed. It was, you know, it was a nice conversation. It was a fun conversation. And it reminded me of how things were in the past between us. And no, that doesn't mean that we're going to jump right back into that, right? But he deserved to hear that from me. And, you know, I was explaining to him because he was kind of like, well, what's changed? And I said, you know, Dustin, I'll be really honest with you. Like, for a long time, people would say, this is who you are. And I'd be like, no, you don't understand. That's not who I am. That's not who I am. This is who you are. No, that's not who I am. That's not who I am. And I would talk to my sponsor, you know, and I would say to her, like, I need to make this amends, but I'm struggling with it. And she would say, well, why are you struggling with it? And I would say, well, you know, like, you know, he said that I could have been a better friend and I did this and whatever. And she'd say, well, could you have been a better friend? And I would say, well, I could have been a better friend, yes, but, okay. And I always wanted to make excuses for it. And then one day she said, could you have been a better friend, period? And this is probably about 3 months ago that this occurred. And 2 or 3 months ago. And I said, it was like a wake up moment for me. And I was like, yeah, I could have been a much better friend to a lot of people in my life. And I could have spoken to people a lot nicer. I could have thought before I spoke. And you know, this is hard as a drama channel because when I say this and people come and they say, well, you talk about this person and you talk about this person and you talk about that person. I don't know if this is obvious to people, but I'm very aware of that, right? And I think I have tried my best as a drama channel to speak to people and give advice and give suggestions. Do I think that crossing over from a joke and being funny to cruelty has happened at times? Yes. And I am working on trying to change that as I go forward. But there's a lot of people that I have been able to rectify some of these things within the last year. And I'm very thankful for each and every one of them. Just to not bullshit this at all and just throw this out there, Paige Christie was one of them, and she was very open to hearing my amends. And Sam, here for the tea, was the other person. And whether what you think about those people or not, I will just tell you, in those moments, they were very genuine-hearted to listen to what I had to say, okay? And that's where I'm at with it today. I want to go into 2020, not really, I want to stay over here in my lane. I enjoy it over there, you know? It's quiet, it's nice. I don't need to be involved in all of this. I just don't. I love making videos on this channel. I love coming over here and being able to say the things that I want to say and, you know, all of that going forward. I have some exciting things that I'm planning on this channel and my other channels. I started my 30 days or whatever days, how many days of giveaways on my review channel today. So go over there and check that out because I'm doing a giveaway every single day. Just a little side note. I think that all this stuff that I see within the drama community makes me sad. Because, you know, as drama channels, we hold people accountable for their behaviors. And we expect them to change. And we expect them to give sincere, honest, genuine apologies. But when the tables are turned, we sometimes aren't willing to do the same thing. Well, I have tried to be an example in the last year of really taking a look at who I am as a person. I will continue to screw up as a human being. I want to be a better person on a daily basis. I am trying to clean up those things and be a better person. And I feel like I've done a lot of that in the last year because I didn't want to just, I said a year ago, come back and check me out 6 months to a year from now. I didn't want to just get on video and bullshit it and be like, I'm a changed person, I'm different today, whatever. I have sincerely looked at behaviors that were hard for me to look at and accept. I have looked at pieces of myself, looked at it on paper and said, I don't know how I was that person at that time. That is unacceptable. I do not like who I am as a person then. And how do I fix that? Like, what do I do, right? So I think the way for me to fix it going forward is just to be genuine on here and be like, when I'm screwing up, hey, listen, like, I'm trying to fix this, and, you know, contact those people when I do, and things like that. And to me, that's a daily inventory kind of thing that I do. But I will say this about all of this. Like I said at the beginning of this video, when we excuse people's behaviors away, or when we say this is okay or that's okay, really, I don't know why it's why that's your place to do that, first of all, okay? I'm just saying. But what you're doing is you are not allowing them to learn the lessons that maybe they're supposed to learn in this world, you know? And I'm thankful that people allowed me to learn the lessons that I needed to learn in the last year, no matter how hard they were. And let me just tell you, at times, they were difficult, right? And, you know, I know a lot about myself today, and I know a lot about who I was then, and I know who I want to be going forward, and I know that who I want to be going into 2020, and I'm going to really continue to work on that. And I think that if I could say anything to any drama channel out there, YouTuber, viewer, audience, whatever, okay? The major thing that I have learned in the last year is this, and I say this in my vlogs every day: life is not a dress rehearsal, okay? This is not just about YouTube, what I'm about to say. This is about life, okay? This isn't about views or subscribers or PR or brand deals or who likes who or any of that kind of stuff, okay? At the end of the day, when we take our last breath, none of that matters. But how we've chosen to live our lives on camera and off, that matters, okay? And life is not a dress rehearsal. There's no reason for me to sit here and spin wheels focused on this and this and this. I need to focus on Peter. I need to focus on who do I need to be. I'm going to continue to make drama videos talking about beauty influencers and YouTubers because that's my job. That's what I like to do over here, to have an opinion about that, right? But that doesn't mean that I can't do that and continue to grow as a person. And that's what I hope to do on this channel, right? And be honest and 100% and open and keep the same energy, and also be fair. Like, be fair. Like, I don't think it takes a lot for us to be fair. I wish the best to everybody else out there. I really, really do. But more than that, I hope that some of these people that are so resistant to change and so resistant to growth would maybe step back for just a moment and ask themselves, could there be some truth to this? Is there a part of me that really does speak of this? Because if that's the case, it's going to continue to come up until you rectify it and you learn who you are as a person. And I am thankful for the last year of my life. This has probably been, in all honesty, in 47 years, even including the year that I got sober, my year of greatest growth and change. And I am really, really thankful for it, no matter what it took to bring me to this point. So anyway, that's all I have to say about all of that. I hope that we start seeing some change and some growth. You know, it's painful at times, but change is good. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.